All right,
we're doing it.
We're live. Breaking news.
We are. We're doing. It's funny. We were just we were going to open with a segment where I pondered the question to Michael, or posed the question to Michael to ponder rather, of did Scott Boras go too far by asking for too much for Monty, and Blake Snell? And 4 minutes ago, as of this recording, Snell just signed with the Giants. So good for him getting a contract. Good for the Giants getting some star power on their team too. I felt like they were kind of lagging behind the Dodgers and the Padres a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Let me see if there's any details in this, because this just broke.
I was hoping it was the New York Giants and he could take over for Daniel Jones, but
he probably has a better arm.
He has a better arm, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Some neck injuries.
Let's see here. $15 million salary and $17 million signing bonus that will be paid in 2 years.
Ooh.
$62 million on a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
That, you know what? I think my original question of did Scott Boras go too far, this contract kind of answers it, because this guy won 2 Cy Youngs and you only got him a 2-year deal.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. He's got some kind of evil magic, Scott Boras, that he tries to work, and I don't get it.
He's a sorcerer.
Like everybody we're waiting the very last minute. I'm a ball player. At some point, I'm like, I want the money when I can get, of course, but I want to play. Like it's not like they don't want to play. They do want to play, but they want to get as much money as they can. I don't blame them. Who wouldn't?
No. And I'm one of those people, by the way, that when it comes to I don't look at athlete contracts and get all pissy about it, because that is the market value, and they bring millions upon millions of people entertainment and hope and joy and every emotion you can imagine on the spectrum. So I'm kind of one of those people that when I see a dude sign a major contract, I'm just like, shit, good for them, because it's not like it's my money,
No,
I don't care.
Well, it is your money if you pay, if you go to the game, but I know. Yeah.
Well, that much is true, and that's why last year was a good example. We're both Yankee fans here. Towards the end of the year, and this is totally true, the Yankees were cold calling fans to try to get people to go to the games towards the end of the year. This is totally true. My girlfriend bought me. Yeah, my girlfriend bought me a luxury box ticket for the last game 2 years ago, and because they had her info, they were hitting her up to buy tickets, which I thought was really funny, because usually it's the Yankees. The product sells itself. You don't have to do that much marketing once the season starts. Maybe throw a few extra promo days here and there, but I thought that was real funny when they were cold calling people that they had their info. But I digress. That's a digression there.
I'm waiting for the. There's going to be some team that's going to do a promotion, and they're going to partner with Dude Wipes, and they're going to put their arch rivals on the Dude Wipes, and that's all I'm going to say. Use your imagination from there. I'm sure Boston has already done it with the Yankees, so. You'll never see that from our New York Yankees.
I'm sure the Portland Sea Dogs, or whatever the Boston minor league team is, have Dude Wipes with just pictures of A-Rod's face on them. That's just how that goes. But breaking news: Blake Snell, 2-year deal with the Giants. Good for him. That's all I'll say. Good for the Giants. I think it's cool. I think they needed a little bit more pitching in that rotation. There's a guy that I've been meaning to hit up. This guy, he does this show called Even Your Dynasty on YouTube. I want to hit him up and see if I can get him on maybe next week. Anyway, I digress with that. So Blake Snell did sign, and now let's move on to an unsigned pitcher, Trevor Bauer. Our boy Trevor, part of the Problem 3, as we call him on the show. He is still unsigned, and he is doing yet another publicity stunt, because going on Fox News wasn't enough.
Just the place.
He is pitching next week, the 24th. He's going to be pitching for a Mexican league team called the Diablos Rojos, and he's going to be pitching against our New York Yankees. So
I hope they light him up. Light him up.
Yeah, man, you really got. See, I'm kind of more on the other side of this. So do you dislike Trevor?
I can't stand it. He's just he's trouble. It's just I was on the way home today from the city. I was doing stand up in the city. For all our listeners. Anyway, that didn't work. All 6 of you. Keith McPherson was talking about what is the support of this guy. He's got 10 more allegations against him. He's cleared of a woman who made up the stuff against him, but there's a lot of other stuff he did, and it was reoccurring. And it was like, it just you can't like brush that off as if it's like, oh, he ran a red light. I'm not saying you're doing that, but like you get some of these guys calling in the radio, oh, let's get Trevor Bauer. Some guy calling him at a great point. He's like, more Yankee fans were mad at the Star Insurance logo on their jerseys than what Trevor Bauer did. And I was like, yeah, there's a line you can cross, I think.
Well, that right there, that is definitely like a tri-state area bro dude stance to it, right? Like they're it's like, well, okay, look, he was ruffling up some chicks, whatever, but I don't want the sanctity of the sport being messed up by a logo on the sleeve, okay?
It's exactly.
Like somebody somewhere at some auto mechanic shop said those exact words this week.
Word for word. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. Because he hasn't been convicted of anything. Because it's really hard to prove that shit. It's really hard to prove something that somebody did wrong in the bedroom in a public forum,
It is, but it's like you just bringing that out into the world, like bringing it into your world and being around, like nobody's going to say that to you and me because we don't do those things. But like he just with super ego and well, not me, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I'm not into
of course
stuff.
No,
I'm
but like
just
an egomaniac who thought he can get away with it. And I don't think it would fly in New York.
Not to in any way stick up for him.
Yeah.
But I would say that because pro athletes in general have a reputation for, a lot of them are cool, but some of them do have the reputation of being raging douchebags. And I think part of it is because of the fact that since they were like, 12, 13 years old, they've been told that they're the fucking man, and they rarely hear the word no.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And so this dude, the Trevor Bauer's reality might be kind of a little bit just kind of warped right now because he doesn't understand that you can't just get away with everything forever, even though you're a pro athlete. And the thing is, he probably heard the word no so few times over the last, 15 years of his life that genuinely he doesn't understand that he can't just do 3 radio interviews and get picked back up in the, one of the biggest sports leagues in the world. And so I think so the psychology definitely plays a part of it for sure.
Yeah. I just don't think it would work out for the Yankees. It would be too much of a distraction. I mean, they just went through the whole thing with Herman.
Speaking of Herman.
Yeah, so let's go to him now.
Let's go to him, not to cut you off, but Herman did sign.
The
only one of the Trouble 3 so far, that we, as we call him here, he signed, I think it's $1.5 million with the Pirates earlier in the week. And that's the exact type of team that I figured would be taking a chance on at least one of these 3 guys. Because the Pirates and also Cincinnati, they have one thing in common. And so they're both going to be kind of upstart teams. I think they're both going to surprise a lot of people this year. Those 2 teams might be competing for the NL Central title, which is a sentence you never thought you'd say.
They're like the Orioles last year. Yeah,
exactly. Well, the Pirates have a ton of young talent in their core. And so Herman was a killer pickup because I think that team, they might have so much goodwill with their young stars that they can kind of override Herman signing, especially if he pitches good. Because if he comes out and he throws, probably not another perfect game, but if he throws a couple of really, lockdown starts over the first few months, in a market that small in terms of baseball, all will be forgiven. It's how it is.
Yeah, I slept through that perfect game because I put the game on at the start, not thinking anything of it, and I woke up and it's like, oh, he pitched a perfect game. What?
I was at an open mic. That's where I was. So I'm not sure which. Yeah, I know that's way sadder. And I was at an open because the thing is, I don't really do as much stand up as I used to. But there's there's an open mic that's like a block or 2 from where I work, and I'm like, all right, I got out early enough. I'll go. I'll get on the list. Whatever. I'll do it. And then my phone starts blowing up. And by the way, this is like 12:31 in the morning because like this game's on the West Coast. It was in Oakland.
Yes.
What the fuck is going on? Did something happen with the game? And then all of a sudden, I'm in a video group chat with a bunch of other Yankee fans. Like, holy shit! How cool is that, guys? Like, oh man, you're never gonna see another one of those. And I'm like, tell you what, I just saw, some, incel talk about women on stage for the 12th time tonight in a row. What happened? Did something cool happen in real life? I missed it. So I'm always gonna have a little bit of bitterness for missing that. That is pretty cool, though.
You missed some excitement yesterday in real life with the bar fight that me and Brian. We actually the Nosebleeders of all people were front and center for a bar fight.
It's funny. It's apparently as soon as I left, because we like full disclosure, we were filming some stuff in the park the other day or yesterday, and apparently, afterwards, we had a stack and had a drink at the bar. And as soon as I left with my girlfriend, apparently a fight breaks out. Like, and Brian told me it was like 30 seconds after I walked out. Like the bouncer had a jacket.
Well, it was a little more than that, probably like 10, 15 minutes after you left. And I'm sitting there, and I look over, and the bartender and the bouncer were like, they were standing around this guy. I thought they were all friends, and they're tying him up. I thought it was like, just guys joking around, fake wrestling. Because the bartender, I think he was smiling a little bit, but he probably was realizing the ridiculously of it, and he tied up the guy, and he was like, "Are you done? Are you done?" He's like, what did he say? He was saying something like, "Who's on top?" or who's something like, "Who's ahead?" or "Who's ahead?" something like that. And the guy was like, "I'm done. You are." And he picked the guy up, like he tackled him at one point. I think he said he punched him in the face. I didn't see the punch, but like Brian got up. They almost hit. I'm sitting there like a deer in headlights, and I'm like, I'm not getting up, but this is scary. So I was just kind of in shock at the whole thing. And the guy gets
You're sitting there because finishing up your what did we eat yesterday? Crepes. You're sitting there daintily eating
crepes,
daintily eating your crepe while drinking a seltzer water, and some dude is getting his head knocked into a bar 4 feet away.
Yeah, and the funny part was there was some guy at the bar. Some guy at the bar, I don't know if he was a comic or what, because they do comedy at this bar, and he was like, and isn't this the perfect song? And it was this love song from the 80s by Journey or Foreigner or something like that. It was perfect. And people on the street were looking in, like, what happened? This one guy, I forget his name, he's a comic. He was like, "Can I ask what happened?" And the bouncer was just like, "Is he gone? Is he thinking we get rid of him?" Good.
No,
so that was St. Patrick's Day
weekend, baby. Does not disappoint in New York. Hell yeah. So speaking of fighting, let's move on from baseball. Let's hop over to a different sport, a sport that I don't really know much about, which is boxing. I know that, but boxing, I know, has a lot of technicalities to it. There's a lot of finesse to it. The untrained eye, such as myself, just sees two very muscular men beating the shit out of each other and punching each other. And it's cool. It's fun to watch, but I don't claim to be an expert in any way. But there's, of course, the one that everyone's talking about right now, and this is another sentence I never thought I'd say in real life. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is coming up.
Jake Paul is going to die. I'm telling you right now. If you watch, we don't have the videos to show, but if you look up recent videos of Mike Tyson training, it's still Mike Tyson in that ring training like Mike Tyson always trains. He's like the most violent puncher in boxing history, and like, he will destroy Jake Paul. And like, there's some weird stipulations for the fight. Like, this isn't one of them, but it's something like Tyson has to fight with his left hand only. It's like some weird shit like that. That's not one of them, but I'm just saying, it's like this weird shit. He's gonna murder this guy. It's scary.
So I don't know much about boxing, as I already said, but am I crazy, Mike, in thinking that this is actually going to be entertaining?
It'll be entertaining if you hate Jake Paul, yes, because he's going to get his brains knocked across the room.
Because here's the thing. Mike Tyson is 57 years old. Jake Paul is 27. He's 30 years younger than him. Okay? So I do think that a little bit of the youth might give him a little bit of endurance, that if he can endure a few punches, it might actually be entertaining, because Mike Tyson's almost on a handicap because he's 30 years older than the guy he's actually fighting against. So I think that might lend to the possible evenness and entertainment value of the fight.
On paper, you're correct. In reality, just Google Mike Tyson training for the Jake Paul fight. Okay. And you are witnessing the last few days of a YouTube jackass, pretty much. This guy, look, he's making his money, whatever. But
he's gonna have permanent brain damage after this.
Oh my god! Did you see the video when Mike Tyson, the drunk guy, was annoying Mike Tyson on the flight, and Mike Tyson was slapping him, and obviously well deserved. The guy was being an asshole to Mike Tyson, and the guy had a little cut in his face. That's from a slap. Mike Tyson is training full speed bobbing and
that is such a bad. How many little nip bottles of cheap vodka do you have to go through on a flight before you think it's a good idea to talk shit to one of the most accomplished boxers of all time? Are you out of your goddamn mind, my dude? That's crazy.
Yeah. I wouldn't talk shit to Sugar Ray Leonard on his deathbed, because they know how to punch through.
He could be actually dead and you still don't talk shit. Okay,
it's just reaction. The last cell in the brain kicks in.
He comes back to life, and zombie Sugar Ray kicks your ass. Okay.
Well, they're saying the governor.
So you got Tyson, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I was going to say the governor of New York has called away the National Guard in return. They're putting Mike Tyson in every subway stop to save the city from violence. Just one look at Mike and that's it. Okay,
yeah,
joke's over.
No, I like the joke. I thought it was great. But yeah, I don't know enough about boxing to make a definitive call. But I would say that you have one guy who's young and in really good shape versus a guy who's older but better technically trained and also in pretty good shape for his age. I think it's going to be more even than people think. But I do think, I guess, just because Mike has the experience, you give the edge to him. But again, I'm not the authority on this. I just thought it was really interesting to talk about that you have a fight with a 30-year difference. That's that could hold big. That's all I'm saying.
I sparred once I did some training at the PAL in my hometown for like a couple months, which was a lot of fun. It was best workout I ever got to do. I got to spar. The hardest part about sparring, if you've never fought before, is keeping your arms up like this for 3 minutes with gloves on, because you just get tired. Think about when you're a kid, you have to raise your hand in school and you're going like that.
Well, if those of you work out, there's a workout called pec dex, which is literally just doing this with either weights or jugs in your hand. If you're poor, like I was over COVID, and this is, believe it or not, a really good pectoral workout.
Oh yeah,
it hurts like hell. After you do 20 or 30 of them. Yeah. So no, you are 100% right. So yeah, well, So you got Mike. I'll go with you on that. So moving along to back to baseball here. We have two Dodgers related topics. One's going to require a visual, and the other one, this story you sent me today, and I think this is incredible. I'm going to have to show this to some of the guys I work with who are all dudes who speak better Spanish than me. So the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, which is the, I guess, A-ball team for the Dodgers, during a special exhibition this spring, during 3 games, they're going to be calling themselves the Chaquetas.
Okay.
And I didn't know this till you sent me the article, but that is apparently a slang term in Espanol for jerking off. That's right. For beating your meat. Spanking the monkey.
Is Louis C.K. the manager? What's going on? Pee Wee Herman's the master?
Yeah. During the 7th inning stretch, they all have to go out to the middle of the diamond. Everyone drops their pants, and this rubs one out in front of the entire fan base.
Yeah, it's like David Cohn in the bullpen. Whatever he did.
Yeah, he's going to be a pitching coach, and that's
a pitching coach. Oh God.
There are so many jokes you can say with this. It's like, hey man, you gonna go watch the jerk offs later? You gonna catch the jerk offs?
Oh, you mean the Dodgers, of course.
Yeah, the Dodgers. Yeah, no. Or maybe if they're not playing well, some of the fans in the stands can make little signs that say "Don't jerk us off." That can be one thing to do. But yeah, I thought this was very amusing that there's going to be a team, especially in I think, is Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California? I think it is, right?
Yeah, it's part of California, as far as I know. In fact, I'm wearing a Three Stooges shirt. This is Mo.
Where is Rancho Cucamonga? Because
they filmed at a golf course, the Rancho Cucamonga golf course or something. It's
that is. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's like just east of LA. That's like it's in between LA and San Bernardino. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of Spanish-speaking folks that either work at the stadium or go to the game in Southern California. A lot of folks of Hispanic descent. So you're going to have some very funny jokes that day at the stadium. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear them. That's going to be funny. One last thing here. This is the last one that I have. Is they just released this about an hour ago. Speaking of the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, who signed a mega deal with New Balance, which, by the way, Shohei, I get the sense he's kind of a square in real life.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so, yeah.
He's just a very vanilla dude. He signs a $100 million deal, and the first thing he does is he gets married.
Did?
Yeah. He just seems like the kind of guy that when the whole team is partying, he's like, no guys, I'll just have like a wine cooler, and then he leaves. But he just seems like he's very focused, and good on him. He's making $700 million playing ball, and I'm not, so good for him and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, he released his logo, and he signed with New Balance, the official dad sneaker company, or is that Skechers? And we have the logo here. Do we do the logo?
Yeah. We have the logo. Let's bring it up right now.
Yes, let's bring up the logo here.
Let's show
I can say, Mike, when I saw this logo, I actually thought of you, believe it or not, because I thought you would actually really like this logo, because it's not. A overly simplistic, but it has that classic sort of athletic apparel appeal. I don't know. What do you think of this?
I don't know. I mean, this is kind of plain and vanilla. It really is. If you look at like the Jordan Jumpman or the Griffey swing on the Griffey Nikes, or even the Shaq had his silhouette on his sneakers when they were Reebok and then his own, it was identifiable. This is like an artist freehand sketch, and it looks like him, but I don't. It's funny that, like, if you look at the New Balance logo, it's a recognizable symbol. If you look at that image, I guess the more we see it, the more we'll get it. But it should be a little more, I don't know, logo-ish. I don't know. It just looks like somebody painted it with an ink pen or something.
Yeah, it looks like it's done with a calligraphy pen. Okay, so you don't like it then. All right. I was wrong in my prediction then.
I don't know if I don't like it. It'll grow on me, but I think it's a little too fancy for if you want a logo, you want it to be like almost like you stamp it right on and it's there. The NY.
I like this because it's not overly simplistic. It's cool. It has a little bit of like, it's not easily replicatable or replicable. It's cool. I think it's very
like cursive.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's got, it looks like a uniform that's got some dirt on it. I think it's got character. I actually really like this logo. I think it's very cool.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, maybe, I don't think it's bad. I just, if you talk from a technical standpoint, I think it's a little fanciful. I like a logo that you can draw, like the Wu-Tang logo or something like that. Like you want, because it can be repeated and people will recognize it. But this is like.
Here's a segue that's going to get us canceled. Ready? Speaking of black people, let's talk about the Knicks.
Oh my God. How much time do I have to edit this tonight? Jesus Christ. Okay,
I'm not even remotely sorry.
It's your funeral. Maybe you have to fight Mike Tyson.
I've said that's not even the top 5 most offensive things I've said in this show, so I don't care. And there are white guys in the Knicks too, right?
There's Italian DiVincenzo. Spike Lee's always doing this, and he's like, how come nobody does it for him? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Why just Tommy Cutlets? We have DiVincenzo. OG Anunoby is injured again. Well, it looks like his elbow is flaring up, so they're going to get him checked out, from what I understand, and he'll probably be out. They don't know exactly, but maybe a few games. So the Knicks were just starting to get hot again. It seems like they were coming to the light of the tunnel, and it
sucks, man, because they were playing with like a borderline G League roster for like a couple weeks there, and we thought, okay, we're gonna start getting some guys back. They're gonna start heating up again, and then of course the dude they make the big trade for goes down again. It really sucks, man. It really does, and I was really hoping,
promise. Yeah,
I was really hoping that the Knicks would wouldn't happen to them, because I wanted to see them get like a 2 or a 3 seed. I really wanted to see them put themselves in a position to go on like a serious run. And now it looks like they still can go on a run if they get some people back and they get hot right before the playoffs or in the playoffs. But the path will be a lot more difficult as of this recording now than it would have been if you would have asked me this about 5 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago.
The Knicks, a full strength Knicks team, is going to be a problem in the playoffs if they have that team, like maybe more so than the Heat were last year. But I think everybody was looking at them saying they're going to face Boston in the Eastern Conference Championship. Boston is amazingly good. Not a lot of people,
holes in that roster.
Yeah, nobody really is saying the Knicks could beat them, but they could give them a run for their money, and once playoff time comes. But now with this team being so depleted, you just hope that they get everybody back for next year. No. You get them back for May. You get them back for the playoffs. You make that run. You go in. You give the fans something that so they can build on. You go, hey man, this team finally got to the second round, third round for the first time. Since I was a preteen or an early teenager, this team has been,
you got to give the fans something to look forward. You got to get those playoff wins. You got to sell them season tickets for next year. You don't got to worry about injuries for next year. You got to win.
There really is nothing like excitement in the Garden, which we've seen live. I mean, you got the Rangers now making a run in the playoffs. We were hoping St. John's would get into the tournament, the Big East tournament, the Big East tournament, the Final Four tournament. But they didn't make it, but they're on their upswing, and it's just exciting to play basketball on the Garden. Like, even if you look at March Madness last year, the college teams that were playing in the Garden, that one guy who was from New York, I forget what team he played for. He's in the pros now. He was just in his home court, and he just lit it up, and like just nothing beats that in the Garden. That's what you want to see. So we're hoping the Knicks can get back to strength, because like I had butterflies in my stomach sitting on the edge of my seat with anxiety. I haven't felt that way since the late 90s with the Knicks.
And that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, man, you waving the white flag. I'm not waving the white flag.
Yeah,
we don't wave that
white flag.
Okay.
No white flag.
I don't like this whole, let's get for next year. No. Get these people back, get them what they got to do, get them some ice, get them a heating pad.
Get them some Tom Brady juice, whatever that's.
Exactly. Give them what you got to give them. Give them that cortisone shot. Get them out there. All right, because I want to see some action. I want to see this spring, and hey, maybe that's just me being selfish as a New York sports fan, because and we talked about this a few months ago, back when we first started doing this, about how it felt like rock bottom for New York sports, because the Jets were terrible, the Giants were terrible, the Mets and Yankees were, well, the Yankees by their standards were terrible, even though they're still winning, technically 82-80. Okay, and so we're sitting there going like, well, we don't know about the Knicks this year. We're not super sure about the Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, where do we go for wins? And I think this city could use a real playoff run from one of its main teams. So that's why I am not waving the flag. I'm saying rest up if you gotta, get in, even if at this point, if it's a low seed, get in and do some damage. And also, speaking of basketball, you know what? And you and I are going to make good on something that we talked about. We're going to go to a Liberty game this spring. We're going to do it.
Okay? Oh, good. Okay,
we're doing it.
Fun. Yeah,
we're going to Barclays. We're going to go to a Liberty game. Okay, we're gonna. It's going to be a good time.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, because they deserve a little bit of our fan dollars and our attention as well. Because as we said, they were the only team that didn't suck in 2023 in this city. So that's just
like them and the New York Football Club, which is moving to the new place that got approved next to City Field.
Out in Steve Cohen's Mr. Cohen's neighborhood, as I hope they start to call it if they haven't already.
And then I sent you guys this over the weekend. I saw that there is a professional women's hockey league, and we have a team in New York, so we'll have to catch that as well. I didn't know about that because I covered women's hockey when I worked in the Olympics doing highlights, and it's just as entertaining.
Where do they play at? What venue?
I think they play at the ice rink in Central Park. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just saying they don't. I don't think they really have a big arena because nobody really knows about women's hockey, but they should because it's good, and they're gonna be playing in the Garden if it gets some speed.
I said the thing about black people, but you just said that about women. What's the name of the team? I'll look it up right now. I'm actually very curious about this.
I think it's just the New York. I think they don't have a team now. I think it's just like New York Professional Women's Hockey Club, just like the soccer team is New York Football's Club.
PHW.
No, I meant because there's no money in the league really. Like I don't know where they play. Like they have no place to play.
PHWL hockey. Let's see. Buy tickets. Let's see. Wait. They play at multiple different arenas. It looks like throughout the league.
This is probably a little traveling team right now.
That's crazy that no one will actually give them a.
Put them in the Garden. That would be great.
I mean, if you can move 20,000 tickets, I'm not sure, but hold on. I'm just looking at this right now. I guess
it's a schedule thing.
Okay, so some of their games are apparently at the Total Mortgage Arena. I don't even know what that is. And some of them are at the UBS Arena.
They should put them in Central Park in the rink. I would go. That would be great. Outdoor hockey. That would be awesome.
Oh, wait. The Total Mortgage is up in Bridgeport, up in Connecticut. Okay. And then what's the other one?
What about the friggin' Continental Airlines Arena? Brendan Byrne used to be where the Devils used to play. You can't go there? Is it still there? Is there anything?
So UBS is where the Islanders play. So they don't actually play in New York. They play some of their games in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and some of their games out on the island. So neither of those are easy to get to for us. I'd go to Bridgeport, I guess, because I know a few people live near there because I'm from Connecticut. So
right.
I don't know.
We got to make money and sponsor them. They deserve better.
Dude, that'd be great if we did some coverage up there.
Women's hockey. Anyway, it's good.
Any more topics to cover? Or are we gonna put a bow on this one, Mikey boy?
No, we're just about at 30 minutes. This weekend, I'm going to see at the Red Bulls Arena soccer, Italy, men's soccer, Italy versus Ecuador. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
I've never been to a live soccer
game. Are you gonna paint your face green, white, and red? Are you gonna do?
I should. I got my green hat. I got a green hat. I have a red one. I will be all Team Italy. Although Italy wears blue.
Are you gonna instead of foam fingers, the number 1? They should have the foam fingers with the Italian thing. See that's the marketing and promo they need to do.
A middle finger, like For Italians, it's that or a middle finger.
It's that or a middle finger. All right. Well, we are gonna go. I'm gonna give somebody else the middle finger right now. I don't know. This has been fun. All right. Well, peace out. I'll talk to you next week, dude.
Later.